Welcome one and all to our week 3 of Valanth's Blood Bowl League pre-show. My name is Counterfeit, the King Counterfeit, joined by big man ByronVilla to bring you all the news about Valanth's Blood Bowl League. Now, this is our first show ever, but we're in week number 3. So, Byron, how does this pre-show work?
So, we're going to start off covering the day 1 and 2 results. And then after that, we'll be going through this week's matchups. And then finally, we'll be recognizing our most valuable players so far in this split. And then
so let's get right on to day 1. Byron, can you take us through the results from day 1 of the 3 we've getting to so far?
It's the Knights of Valanth, 0. League of Dead Memes, 2. Woody Woodpeckers Uwu, 0. Dead Street Boys, 2. Cliff's Revenge, 0. Chewy's Champions, 1. The Adorable Nurglings, 2. Valkyrie's Cannons, 0. The Loud Guys, 0. Ravenous Tigress, 2. Scaly Scrimmers, 1. Chariot of Chads.
So from day 1 of competition, what's the, this might be a little bit obvious, but which one of these games is jumping out most to you?
Well, it has to be the incredibly high goal scoring match between the Chariot of Chads and the Scaly Scrimmers. There's lots of goals for the Elven Union squad there, and it gives them a strong start to really develop that squad going forward, getting so much SPP off that first game.
All right, let's jump across to day number 2. Can you take us through it?
And it's Woody Woodpeckers Uwu 3, Knights of Valanth 0, League of Dead Memes 0, Cliff's Revenge 0, Dead Street Boys 0, The Adorable Nurglings 2, Chewy's Champions 0, The Loud Guys 1, Valkyrie's Cannons 0, The Scaly Scrimmers 2, Ravenous Tigress 2, Chariot of Chads 4.
So this day 2 seems like it has a little bit more competition between the highlight matches. Which ones are you really bringing out from day number 2?
Well, once again, you have to mention the Chariot of Chads. Another 4-goal game from them. But Woody Woodpeckers, that's a 3-0 victory. The most dominant goal difference out of any game in that week. So I've all of a sudden got my eyes on that squad. I'm thinking maybe they can do some stuff.
All right, before we jump in to the week number 3 matchups, let's take a little look and see how the teams are developing so far as we start things off with those Chariot of Chads, headed up by Arbush and looking pretty good.
Yeah, they really are. Those 5 leveled players going to be meaning so much for them, and it's going to make it so much harder for other teams to try and contest when he has just those extra abilities above everyone else.
We've got Cliff's Revenge headed up by team coach Cliff Knight, the Chaos Squad, looking a little worse for wear.
Yeah, they really are. They've lost that Chaos Warrior, so are in a lot of trouble.
And with one out injured as well, it's going to be a rough day 3 for them. Then we've got Chewy's Champions headed up by Chewy themselves, of course, the High Elven team.
Yeah, and after their very bloody match with the Loud Guys, they have a very depleted roster and only one singular level up. So things are looking a little bit rough for the current champions.
We'll then have the Dead Street Boys headed up by Just Weasel, looking pretty substantial.
Yeah, they have a huge roster and now have both werewolves. However, one thing to keep in mind right now, they have no levels to speak of, so they still haven't fully developed, but they are certainly shaping up to be one of the stronger rosters in the league.
We have the Knights of Valanth headed up by Blaze H. Wrecker, looking okay so far.
Yeah, well, they've taken no injuries, which is a great bit of news, but they've gotten no levels, so whilst they look okay, it's a bit of a stunted development. They still look like about a week 1 roster, so you want to see them start getting that SPP down, getting some levels on their players, and start developing these players into absolute monsters.
Got the League of Dead Memes headed up by Epic DD, who've got themselves some mummies and the daddies too.
Yeah, once again, they've got a very large roster like the Dead Street, but once again, no levels on their main players make it so that they're still not at a strong point in their development. They still need to get their SPP down.
The Ravenous Tigers, headed up by Shenzhen, former league champion, the Amazon team.
Yep, they've got 3 levels. They're looking in decent shape, and as we discussed before the pre-show, I really think these guys are the litmus test team. If you're good enough to challenge the top table guys, you'll be able to power through these guys easy peasy. But if you're not, you will get exposed by the master coach.
Yeah, with 3 rerolls and an apothecary, they're looking pretty solid to head across to the Scaly Scrimmers, headed up by Mezzy.
Yeah, they've got a decent roster, no injuries, and a level on the Saurus, but they're still underdeveloped. We want to see them continue to kind of progress, and that's kind of the storyline for a lot of the teams here, is that underdevelopment. We want to see those few extra levels.
And we have my squad, the adorable Nurglings, Nurgle team, headed up by myself under my former nickname of Wesker Biscuit.
Yeah, it's a built-out roster. Keep in mind, Nurglings are very weak early, so they managed to hold on quite well so far. They've got the basic stuff, but they still lack those big primary skills that the Nurglings really rely on.
Yeah, my only level up so far, or well, second level up, being on a Rotter, who's very liable to die, means that it's still quite early development. As we head across to your team, the Human Squad, the Lao guys, headed up by ByronVilla, and with Byron on the squad we mentioned before.
Yeah, we had an absolutely brutal game versus True Champions. You have multiple players missing the next game versus you, but still that centerpiece of the squad, big man Byron leading the guys, he's looking so strong, and I feel like there is a possible 1v5 performance about to come out from him. Or well, 1v11 because it's been...
Yeah, gotta watch out for those missing next game players. 3 out for this game, including my namesake as a blitzer. So we head across to Valkyrie's cannons, headed up by Valkyrie, the Chaos Dwarf team.
Yeah, and this roster is looking very weak, if you were to ask me. They're lacking the SPP. They've just lost their big Minotaur. They only have 1 reroll, and they don't have a single apothecary. They need to pick up gold from somewhere. I don't know where they're going to find it. If they are able to start developing again, it will look good, but right now, they just lack so many resources, so it's going to be tough for Valkyrie in the next few weeks.
Alright, and last but definitely not least, the Woody Woodpeckers Uwu squad, headed up by Fat Man Gandhi.
Yeah, it's still got a bit of a shaky looking roster, but they have very important level ups. However, big thing to note, Gandhi mate, where are your rerolls? You've got none. That's really bad. Like, I really worry for him in the next few games, because not having those rerolls available, I mean, one little piece of luck goes badly, and your game's out of the question. So it's going to be very rough for Gandhi these next few games. He needs to pick up some rerolls.
All right, so let's head across to the matchups for day number 3. And we have 2 undefeated teams coming in today. Arbish's Chariot Chads and my squad, the adorable Nurglings.
Yeah, notable that while both of Counterfeit's opponents have yet to get a win, Arbish's first round opponent, Messi, did win last week, so technically a better win percentage there. However, other things to note, Nurglings, they have defied the odds and got through their traditionally awful early start to the season with back-to-back wins. These Nurglings are only going to get stronger, so it's on people like myself, who have him week 3, to try and expose that weakness. However, Chariot Chads, they have the highest scoring record so far. They have 8 total goals, and they are proving very, very hard to stop. However, I'm pretty sure there's another squad out there who's scoring the most goals.
Yeah, it's their opponents for week number 3. The Chariot Chads going up against Woody Woodpeckers. Between the 2 teams last week, 7 goals. So I'm really excited to see what these guys are bringing out for us.
Yeah, they had a 3-0 victory over the Knights of Valanth, also 2 level ups, as you said. They are on the up, but they're facing up against, obviously, the undefeated and high-scoring Chariot Chads. So I am really looking forward to seeing an absolute tidal wave of touchdowns smash its way onto the pitch in that match.
Of course, we've got our match coming up soon, which we'll be recording and placing up on YouTube, of course, as well. Your Lao guys, I mean, their last game was just eye-watering, and I'm very upset I'm having to face them immediately after that.
Well, you'll be lucky to know that I do have a lot of people missing, so this might be your opportunity. However, Big man Byron, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. You picked up 9 SPP in that one game alone. You've got to be so scared of this guy, because he will break your guy's legs, and he will not care.
Yes, I mean, so far my squad has avoided taking any casualties at all. As you mentioned before, I think your last game with 3 deaths in it total is just ridiculous. But let's cast our eyes a little bit further down the standings, as we have got ourselves 3 teams who have yet to find wins. Valkyrie's Cannons, Blaze's Knights of Valanth, and Cliff Squad's Cliff's Revenge. What have the seasons been like so far?
Valkyrie has just took a very painful loss because they've lost their big guy, the Minotaur, last week against the Scaly Scrimmers. The remaining part of the roster is still pretty strong, but with that single reroll, it's going to be hard for them to challenge, and especially going up against a very well-developed team in Epic DD's Necromantic Dead Street Boys. It's going to be a rough match for them there. Blaze's Knights of Valanth are also going to be into a tough week 3. As they are second into their back-to-back elf-facing weeks, going right from the Woody Woodpeckers into the arms of Chewy's champions. And finally, Cliff's Revenge have only conceded 1 goal so far, but they yet to score for themselves at all. They have a strong defense, but they need to be scoring if they want that SPP and if they want their squad to develop.
Alright, so last up, we're going to be giving out some awards for some of the players who've attracted the most attention over these first few weeks. And first up will be the most violent, the most vile of players in the whole league. And if you've been paying attention, you might be able to guess who it is. It's our good friend Byron the Ogre from your squad, Byron.
Yeah, he's the most violent player. 3 injuries caused. 2 of those injuries being deaths, and also keep in mind he has 11 SPP in total now, so is the most experienced player in the league currently. This man is an absolute monster. I can speak from experience, and we'll have to see how he grows with the rest of the league.
It's not just about punching people in the face and ending their short but violent lives. We've also got to move the ball around the pitch, so we need to recognise our most accomplished passing player, and it's not who you'd expect it to be in a league with so many elves.
Exactly, it's actually Queen Ottery from the Ravenous Tigress Amazon squad, who has the most successful passes at 3 completed, and the furthest distance thrown total from any player in the league, nearly doubling the closest competition, who are, of course, 2 members of Chewy's Champions High Elf team.
Alright, last of all, it's not just about passing the ball, it's not just about smashing people in the face, it's about getting those touchdowns. And we've got a 3-way tie for the most accomplished player at getting the ball where it needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 3-goal, 3-way tie. And 2 of these 3 are on the same squad. The Chariot of Chad, Stoned and Korean Sophia, both with 3 touchdowns each. But also Betty Rabanby from the Adorable Nurglings has also locked down 3 goals, which is very impressive once again, considering the Nurglings usually got off to a very rough start.
Yeah, very glad to have picked up sure hands on Barnaby to get the job done. But guys, that's all we have for you now. We're going to be getting ready for our head-to-head match. Hopefully the Nurglings will survive the experience. Maybe the Lao guys will put pace them in the same way. But for now, I've been Counterfeit, joined by Big Man Byron, and we'll see you guys next week.
Come on, man.